Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Libations Friday, loosey-goosey. Welcome back, baseball edition of the program. I'm Jeff, that's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you get to listen live via the streaming free. Always don't miss anything, but if you do, go back and get caught up. We'll post all 3 hours on iTunes, and we appreciate those of you, if you're so compelled, to rate us 5 stars and pass it around. Share the love so that others may enjoy it. You can email us, jcs@979espnradio.com. And I would tell you this, hello, YouTubers. We're up and running. At Jay Cameron Show on Twitter as well. Matthew Leach is going to join us. He will do so on the Phone Hero hotline when he comes on next segment. Of course, Phone Hero, they're locking it down on the hotline. All guests appear via the Phone Hero hotline. 2 locations, by the way, 2915 Cary Forest Parkway and 833 West Gaines Street. Also online at phoneherotlh.com. They specialize in iPhone and iPad repair. Tom is utilizing their services. This is not a plug. This is true. Yeah. Tom, one thing is out of his control. The other, he broke his fiance's computer like an ass.
I did, and it was like an ass. I decided to lazily pick up the laptop and pinch it by the bottom corner of the screen.
Oh, you don't do it, Tom.
And with my grip strength, that just destroyed the hell out of the screen.
It was over the second it started.
But you just reminded me, I have to get back to Austin because I wanted to confirm that the screen was correct, the measurement on it, because Jamie sent me the specs, but it wasn't the official. She just did a measurement, so I got to make sure that he doesn't order the wrong part.
No, that would be bad.
Yeah, so I guess that'll be early next week. But I'm out a few bucks. It was a great deal I got, but I'm out a few bucks, and it's my own damn fault.
Yeah, BA Phone Hero, helping Tom best they can, and they can help you. You may not get the same sweetheart deal that Tom gets, but you'll get a good deal. I loved it last night, man. I hunkered down. I watched a little baseball. I know you swung by the CP to grab baseball in a box.
I did. Mm-hmm.
You know what I would have done had I done what you did when I got home? Now, you would never do this, but I would have put some slaw on that dog. Put some slaw on the dog.
If it's the vinegar-based slaw,
yes,
then I'm in.
Pile it on.
But if it's that mayo nonsense,
I'd pile it, both of them. Pile them on. Nope. Yeah.
It was already piled on.
I almost took a picture for you last night
of
2 hot dogs that I made my boys, and the 2 hot dogs that I made they each got 2. Bryce quickly wolfed his down and wanted 3 more. Because he's 12 going on 21. It's insane. The boy it's just, I'm going to have to maybe do 2 shows a day. Start doing mornings and afternoons in order to increase my salary so that I can feed Bryce. It is out of control. I'm not kidding you. It is ridiculous.
So maybe we should do the 6 to 7 p.m. hours, the Feed Bryce hour.
Yeah, the Feed Bryce hour. Yeah. We'll get an added bonus. I'll pocket the money. Don't tell corporate. And I'll just so I can feed Bryce. It's ridiculous. Anyhow, I almost took a picture, Tom, because you would have been horrified. You would have been horrified. This hour, this day, by the way, this return to baseball, this is the buildup for you as we go to Braves baseball. All of this is brought to you by our good friends at Barano Heating and Air Conditioning. Best in the business and really, really loyal supporters of the Jeff Cameron Show and ESPN Radio. I encourage you to do business with those who do business with us. Barano Heating and Air Conditioning. So the reason I was going to take the picture was you would have been horrified. On the one hand, you would have thought, that's nice. Jeff's making some dogs for his kids. That's what he should do. It's baseball. They were geared up to watch some baseball, and we did. And I'm glad we got some fireworks early in that game because they're still 12-10, and you get about 3 innings in and nothing's happening. They're going,
not everybody is mesmerized and bedazzled by the wonder of Max Scherzer's tilt on his slider the 99 that Garrett Cole's thrown out there.
If they are, it's for a few minutes, and then they're going, okay, I've seen it. It's good. Somebody going to hit the ball?
Even to the second baseman for a 4-3. Can we do that?
Somebody put the ball in play? So, luckily, we had an early dinger, and once that dong happened, I was like, oh, we're starting the day with a dong.
I'm glad the nomenclature was updated for the second reference.
Yeah.
Did you see the massive fail that was the beginning of the Dodgers and Giants game?
They joined it late. That game.
They joined it late. They had a local. They could have ejected it, but they had a local break, and they fired it erroneously because
erroneous.
They're like, you know what? We're going to start this game a minute early. And of course, on the first pitch of the game, somebody reaches on an error.
Yeah,
they're like, Carl's like, sorry about that.
Yeah.
Somebody's on first.
Yeah, that's embarrassing. Anyhow, the picture that I would have sent you that would have caused you to recoil was that, and this is per his request. Bryce said, Dad, nothing but mayonnaise on that dog, please.
Oh, my God.
I said, no mustard, no ketchup? Nothing but mayonnaise, Dad. Pile it on.
Pile it on?
Pile it on. He doubled down. So the picture is that of a hot dog.
Ugh.
Let me tell you something, though. I did the right thing. I boiled them. I did it right.
Oh, dirty water dog.
Yeah,
there you go.
Dirty water dog is the way to go. And I did that. And then, for him, smothered it in mayonnaise. I almost sent the picture to you. Oh, you would have been so upset.
That's disgusting.
Yeah. If we do dogs tonight, I'm going to do it in the frying pan with butter. Ooh, no health consciousness here, buddy. That's right.
So my Bradley's dog last night at the CP, they split it down the middle, not all the way, but just to fan it open.
Yeah.
And they loaded it with all the toppings.
All the toppings.
It was crunchy, and that's how I like them.
So you got games last night. It was a glorious thing. Today you get a Mac Daddy full of games. I mean, it's just nothing but games and games and more games. So I'm very excited about that. I think we all should be, obviously. And I should note, bits of news here. The Atlantic Coast Conference and Notre Dame are considering whether the Fighting Irish will give up their football independence to play as a member of the league for the 2020 season. The AP reports. I would say, Tom, you got to leverage this situation. This has to be a multi-year. This should be a permanent deal. But I would say, okay, 5 years. We'll let you in on our fun and games if you want, but you got to guarantee us a minimum of 5 years that you're in the ACC. Because I have a feeling that once you're here, you're going to like it.
It's too bad we don't have a good president who can handle that. Or, I'm sorry, conference commissioner I'm talking about, that could handle those types of negotiations. Failed around the first turn. But maybe, you know what? On the way out, he doesn't care. He could tell Notre Dame where to go. Doesn't matter. He's a lame duck. See what he really thinks.
Should be noted also that the Pac-12 rolled out a plan yesterday. That's their intention anyhow. We'll see. Interesting, I thought that as we concluded yesterday's show that there was momentum that we would hear about other leagues doing something similar. So be on the lookout for all of that because I do think you're going to start hearing that. There's whispers of it in the ACC with a conference +1 model.
Boy, 10+1?
10+1 model. And goodness gracious, if that happens, I think we get our cake and get to eat it too. That's it's amazing, right?
May as well play 12.
I mean, at that point, you're just playing a whole damn schedule. I mean, you're losing, in essence, one game. Obviously, we all know the +1 will be for Florida. But, I mean, sweet Jesus. I have resolved in my head that we're certainly not going to get to see the game in Boise that I had dreamt of for all these years.
So if they are positing 10+1 with somewhere in September they would kick off, be it the second, third, or fourth week of September. Okay, that's their plan. How many games do you think we would actually see if that's the plan that they submitted? And they said, we're moving forward, September 14th or whatever it is, kickoff.
Well, I hope all of them, Tom. I'm not gonna project anymore. I do that and it upsets people. They get all sad. They're not realists. So if I go that route, they get pissed off. Like I can make a difference one way or the other. Like my opinion on this is going to affect whether or not ACC football happens. It doesn't in any way, shape, or form. You're free to disagree with me when I tell you that I don't think they're going to be able to play in mid-September.
You destroyed the only thing I love.
But I want to be wrong. If that makes you feel any better, I want to desperately be wrong. I do. I also want to get out of the way from Matthew Leach, MLB.com, former Tallahassee resident, Leon High grad.
8 teams per league in the playoff.
I know. We'll talk to him about it on the Phone Hero Hotline next on the Jeff Cameron Show. And, of course, all guests do appear via the Phone Hero hotline. Phone Hero specializing in iPhone and iPad repair. 2 locations, 2915 Cary Forest Parkway and 833 West Gain Street. Online at phoneherotlh.com. Let's do it now. Matthew, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing as well as can be expected, given. How about yourself?
Yeah, same. I think that's the standard canned answer, right, for all of us these days. It's frustrating. You hope everybody you love and care for and those you don't stay safe, obviously. But at the same time, you got a little taste of normalcy yesterday. We finally got baseball back into our lives, and it's going to be a season unlike any other. I think we're going to see some bizarre things, including perhaps what on paper may be a bad team competing to get into the playoffs now that they've expanded that. I think you're going to see people make runs at all-time records. Somebody may hit 400. Who knows? This is good. What do you love about the sprint?
I tell you what, my general sensibility with baseball is I lean more purist than not.
Okay.
But, we're starting so weird that I'm just like, let's get weird. Let's see what happens. Let's expand the playoffs. Let's have a weird season and see what happens. I'm fascinated by it. And one of the things that I'm really intrigued by that I hope happens is, a couple of these teams that maybe think they're a year or two away, maybe get hot, and we see some prospects and we see some teams whose windows might be a little later down the road really push it. And I think about a team like the Padres. Say they start out 12-8. Maybe we see Mackenzie Gore and Luis Patino. The Tigers could do something like that. And I think that's one of the really potentially fun and intriguing things about this season is some of the guys who might not be a factor in a longer season, a team gets an opportunity. You got to seize that. They're not going to give a different trophy to the World Series winner. They're giving the same World Series trophy at the end of the World Series that they always do. So you've got an opportunity, go for it.
You know what team seems to fit the bill for me in that mold that you just described? The Chicago White Sox.
Yeah.
That's a fun team. I'm curious to see how they play. And if they get off to a good start, do they go for it? Do they do all of the things you're describing? Maybe bring some kids in that you wouldn't otherwise do so with. They've got a chance. That division's wide open. I mean, I know most people think Minnesota will win it, but I find that to be a fun division.
I think there's a really, really short list of teams that I would rule out. And I'm not exaggerating here. There really might be one team in baseball that I would say is not making the postseason. The Orioles, I don't see any way.
I thought you were about to spit on my Pittsburgh Pirates because they're not going. They're not.
Absolutely. I could absolutely construct a scenario where the Pirates go 32-28 and sneak in as one of those.
Oh, I love you even more, Matthew. Easily. Here we go, buddy. You and I are sharing a cold one if that happens. Well, we'll do so anyhow when we can. But man alive, that's what I want to hear.
I mean, that's the whole thing. If you look at 60-game stretches, so many weird things happen over 60 games. Absolutely they can. Look, I wouldn't even rule out, and I think they're extremely unlikely. Am I ruling out the Marlins? Absolutely not. Caleb Smith, Alcantara, Urania, those guys deal. Jonathan Villar runs into 10 home runs in 60 games? Sure.
You know what I think is interesting?
Are they going to go 40-20? No. Could they go 30-30 and be the 8th team? Yeah.
Hey, so I love that you did that because I have a friend who's a diehard Marlins fan going way back to their origins, and he stuck with them through thick and thin. And certainly the Marlins have been a boom or bust franchise pretty much their whole lives. But, we started talking last year during the season. He's like, look, we're terrible, but we got so many good young players. They could be fun in a sprint like this. And I said, I don't think you're wrong. I mean, it's unlikely, but they do have a lot of fun young players. They're kind of a fun team to watch play.
They have absolutely graduated from team I have no interest in watching to team I'll definitely keep an eye on. They are, even over 162 games, I think they would count as interesting bad team rather than just bad team.
Right. I think that's fair. Do you think, what would you say is a most likely, I mean, we're talking about strange results and we're talking about a limited sample size. So that brings into play where you have somebody, maybe hit 400, like I said at the outset, or you have a pitcher with an ERA under 1.50 or something you're going to see some strange things. Have you thought about some that you'd like to see or some that you think are likely even in such a small sample size?
Yeah, I have, of course. You know me well enough to know that I have had exactly that thought. And two of the ones that I've very much thought about I think 112 is definitely in play. That's one of the numbers I've thought about a lot. Is Bob Gibson's 68 ERA? It would not shock me at all if a Scherzer or Cole or DeGrom, if he's healthy, post a 1 ERA over 12 starts. That's one I can very much see. The one that is extremely difficult to envision, but I just kind of love the symmetry of it. And you set the ball for me to nerd out, so I'm going to nerd out here.
Go for it.
The symmetry that I love is this will be the only season in the history of baseball that it is even slightly conceivable that somebody could get a hit in every game. That's the one that I keep thinking about, and especially if you sit out a couple, nobody's come close to 56, but 56 has been done. It's a 60-game season, and that would be really fun. I mean, I think it's entirely possible somebody could get on base in every game. That doesn't have nearly the sort of magic to it. But the one I keep thinking about is, if somebody gets hits in the first 10 games, that starts becoming a really fun thing to watch. So that's the one that I think is obviously extremely unlikely, but that I kind of like thinking about what a fun thing that would be.
Dare to dream, and I love that you picked it because I don't think anybody I could have had on would have other than you.
I am particular in my nerdiness.
You
just got to lean into that. You get in the middle age, you got to lean into that.
I love that you did it, though. I was like, in my mind, I had a list of things that I thought you might go with. That wasn't it. So when you went there, I went, well, good. This is why we have Matthew Leach on. This is great. You clearly leaned into that one, and it's fine. I do like it. I am worried, by the way. You alluded to something at the outset of the conversation, which was that, for the most part, you tend to lean purist. So do I. Is this opening the door after this season to just keeping the DH in the National League moving forward, do you think? I hope not, but do you think they are?
It's my expectation. Is it next year? Is it in the next CBA? I don't know. I think the long-term trend, whether we never see another pitcher hit again, whether we see pitchers hit again in 21 and then it's the next CBA, whether somehow it's longer than that. I am definitely not comfortable speculating on when exactly, but I think the long-term trend absolutely is towards a universal DH. And I have made peace with that for a long time. I don't hate it as much as a lot of people do. And whenever I think about it, I've sort of been resigned for quite a while that we're not talking about, we're not going to have pitchers hit in 20 years. Even if this year hadn't happened, no matter what, I think the long-term trend has been in that direction for a while.
How worried were you, and we can now celebrate the fact that it didn't happen, but how worried were you that baseball, from an image standpoint, was really going to blow this thing? Because it was already not a good look to watch the very, very visible spat between the Players Union and Rob Manfred, and watching how this played out at a time where people are so desperate and baseball had such an opportunity. I was very, very worried that it wasn't going to play out. But anyhow, I'm kind of curious as inside baseball, what did you think?
Right. I mean, the honest answer is that my view on that was always really myopic and selfish. I mean, I spent very little time between March 15th and whenever we announced the deal in late June thinking big picture, because the truest answer I can give you is I was thinking about my own well-being and the well-being of the 15 people I manage. So I really didn't. It was all hope. It was all really hoping and keeping faith that that we were going to get this right. That the people I manage, who the 15 National League beat reporters who I will stack up against any baseball writers in the country, would not only remain safe, but get the opportunity to do what they're so good at. I mean, that was really, so I definitely understand the question, but because of my position, it really was selfish and small view as we went through all of that. It was, is my crew going to be able to do what they love and what they're good at, and how soon are they going to be able to do it? And of course, are we all going to be able to stay safe and healthy, because that trumps everything. But beyond that, when I talked about sort of baseball negotiations, it was very very narrow view and selfish in my mind.
Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with that, though. I mean, you have a job, and you have people that work for you in that realm. I've selfishly looked at sports this way quite a bit, not ignoring the realities of our situation and the health concerns and everything else. But in a lot of ways, we all look at sports selfishly because we love to invest emotionally and otherwise in the sports that we follow to escape, our everyday minutia, right? And so.
Yeah.
I was crossing my fingers, and I'm still, in a weird way, and I'll move on from this, but I still spend some time wondering, did this working out the way that it did hopefully expedite the bigger negotiations that we know they have to have, right? I mean, that's the real concern is that, okay, this is temporary. We still have a big one waiting in the wings to ensure that baseball is going to be okay moving forward.
Yeah. I mean, look, my hope is that there is enough that some level of goodwill and trust has been built over the last month, and I like what everybody's saying. So I hope, again, I hope that my greatest hope with baseball above any outcome with baseball, my greatest hope with baseball above anything else is that we have seen the last late March, April, May, June, and early July without baseball that we see in my lifetime. That's my number one hope above anything else. And so, and I again, as I lean on. I tend to be a person who sees the bright side. And so I'm choosing to think that, some good progress has been made in that regard.
I love that you do, though. I think it's needed, especially at a time like this. Who do you love in this season, and who would you pick to win it all? I mean, are you going to stay standard with, say, Dodgers or Yankees or, or Rays or something along those lines, or do you think somebody outside that group?
Look, to me, part of how I will assess nearly anything in baseball is, what's going to get exposed. Right, that's what really start when I start at the beginning of a postseason, the beginning of a season. How does it go wrong for this team? And I have the hardest time finding that with the Dodgers and Yankees, and so I definitely start with them. Look, if the Dodgers at some point the Dodgers will not have enough starting pitchers, and that becomes a worry. But you look at a team that has its number one on the injured list and its number three sitting out the season. Their number two is a Cy Young candidate, and the kid they slotted in, who wasn't even supposed to be in the rotation, just absolutely dealt last night. Like, holy cow, Dustin May's got some stuff. If they lose another couple of pitchers, I think you start worrying. But to me, with both of those teams, there's so much depth and so much redundancy of talent and skill sets. It's really hard to see what goes wrong. With that said, 4 rounds of postseason gets real weird.
Really weird.
So,
yeah.
What do you look ahead to there? I mean, the Reds are a sneaky, interesting team. I know they're sort of a sexy sleeper pick right now, but, that's a team that if it gets into a postseason, they go deep in their rotation. They've got some hitters. If Senzel develops, that's a really interesting team. If the Padres can sort of put that rotation together, the A's might be really good.
Yeah.
I do love this Rays team. I really hope that they are what they can be. But if I'm looking, what I'm really looking at is, because one, it can get so weird, and two, because of the health concerns with everybody, to me, what I'm asking is what gets exposed, and do they have depth everywhere? Do you have interchangeable pieces? And that's one of the things with Dodgers that I love so much about them is that not only do they have depth of talent, they have versatility of talent. They lose somebody here, they've got 3 guys who can slide over there. They've got guys who can start and relieve. If May is not filling into the rotation, well, then, he's a terrifying option at the 7th inning. And by the way, again, speaking of the Dodgers, we saw Crowderall throw in the 9th.
Yeah.
They've just got arms, it's just ludicrous, the arms they have. And so that's what I'm looking at. And that's why a team like the Braves, especially with the bad news they get today, it's hard for me to pick them too strongly because I think they're a little thinner. I'm not sure they have that depth at a couple of different places. I think that everything goes right for the Braves. They absolutely could not only win the division, but win it all. Their best is as good as nearly anybody but I feel like the drop-off if things go wrong for them is steeper, and that's why the Dodgers and the Yankees are really the two teams that stand out.
It is fascinating, too, isn't it, Matthew, as we wrap up here? You said something about the amount of unique runs you have to make here in the playoffs with all those rounds. That tends to hurt a lot of times. If you're one of these elite teams, you just have an off series and you're done. Whereas if you're one of these people clinging to hope that something absolutely bizarre happens, it opens the door for so many teams that in a longer series or a longer year would never have a chance. So if you are a team like the Reds or the Braves that you just alluded to, who could be good, but I like that you brought up Cincinnati because I like what they've done. Obviously, Moustakas and Castellanos, and you mentioned maybe Senzel, and of course Votto's always there. So you look at that team and you think, wow, that's kind of a fun team. If they get in, why not them, right? Just get to the dance for all these teams because it's such a bizarre playoff.
Look, it's always weird, but it's even weirder this year.
Yeah.
I mean, and I do think we lose sight of how weird a baseball postseason is anyway. I've always said anybody who thinks they know how a series is going to go is either a liar or a fool. But that's doubly true when you've got more rounds, no travel in that first round. It's just, it really is just sort of just, lean back in the chair and enjoy watching this baseball because it's going to be something we've never seen before and in some ways, hopefully something we never see again.
My friend, it is always too short, but I certainly appreciate you. Before I let you go, just because Tom and I like to gamble and he likes to rub it in, higher number, Mets wins or Pirates losses?
I got to sort of process that in my head.
Okay. Yeah.
I think Mets wins because I kind of like them. I kind of like both of those teams a little more than conventional wisdom. So I think the Pirates won't be awful, and I think the Mets will be pretty good. So,
look at you. There you go. On the spot, you came up with a perfect answer. I can live with that. Hey, be well. Enjoy the baseball. We'll talk soon. Stay safe.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on, man. It's always fun.
Absolutely. Take care. Matthew Leach, MLB.com. Kid went to Leon High and took it on down the road to Harvard and then got into the world of baseball. That's a cool trip.
Boy, if he thinks you guys are going to be better than most people do, and he still picks Mets wins, that means he's looking at 36, 38 wins.
I was going to say, he thinks the Mets are good. Yeah, and I sense that too, by the way. He thought the Mets were good. I think the Mets are good. I mean, they are.
There's a ton of positional redundancy, at least in the infield, like he's talking about. But the question is, how many more blows can they take to the rotation? And we'll see. But, yeah, it starts today, Braves fans. Let's do it.
Well, he mentioned the A's too really quickly before we move on. But, I think that's a team like, okay, let me phrase it this way. If you get outside the obvious picks, and the obvious picks this year are the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Rays. The Rays are that good, folks. And then maybe you throw in the Astros. Still, think what we may of them. They're still loaded, still really, really good. Then you get into a whole other group of teams. It's outside of that. Then it becomes the Twins. Then it becomes the Braves. Then it becomes the Mets and the A's. Those teams are all grouped in that area.
The Nationals,
the Nationals, that's right. You would throw them in there as well. Then you get beyond them because then I think the next group is, probably a Cleveland or Cincinnati or the Cardinals or Philadelphia or Chicago, the Cubs. The Brewers are all in. They're all the same in that way,
And what's crazy is in a 60-game set, any one of those teams you listed as favorites could win 28 games and they're out before they even start.
That's right.
But something that all of us college baseball fans here in Tallahassee know is the Super Regional. That's what your playoff is.
Yeah.
It's 8 best-of-3 series. Yeah. We have a Super Regional before we get to the best-of-5 and the DS.
I think what you would do is if you're like me, if you root for a team that's outside that group of 20 teams or so that I named, like if you're a Blue Jays fan or a Rangers fan or a Rockies fan or a Pirates fan.
That would be the Buffalo Blue Jays. They came to the agreement today.
Yeah, that's true. Buffalo Blue Jays. If you're a Royals fan, if you're a Giant, I mean, you listen, you got to hope for weird. That's what, in essence, that's what you got to do. But I think we kind of just categorize the teams appropriately. No, listen, I really do.
You put 2 6-game winning streaks together and you play, a little bit under 500 ball the rest of the way, you're in it. I mean, it's that simple to get there.
Yeah, it's the thing that gives us fans of terrible teams hope. I'm holding on to that hope. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Wrapping it up, the music tells you that, but it's for a good reason. We're making way for some baseball. Lots of it. Woo-hoo-hoo. Feel good about today? You do have Jacob deGrom.
Yeah, I mean, that's you're going to have to win his 12 starts, like the bulk of them. I know we don't like to do that typically.
You love to leave him out on an island with no runs.
I think he's 11-8 last year. Like, as a Mets fan, I don't even look at his win-loss. I don't even care to look at it. I ignore it. It doesn't exist. All I look at are the numbers of how good he is at what he does.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I mean, it's just, it counts for 2.7, right? And that's legitimately the number because you're playing 60 games, not 162. So that means opening day counts for 3. Today counts for 3.
Oh, yeah, we have the rules about opening day.
And the cool thing about this opening day is they play tomorrow. It's not one of those opening days where we take a day off for no damn reason.
Yeah, that's so frustrating. Every year that happens. You're like, no, I've got to be anxious because I got to wait till freaking 8:15 tonight. I'm going to be edgy all day ready for this thing. But
yeah, we're in 8 o'clock for game 2. It's White Sox and Twins, which is a good game. That's actually, the White Sox are considered to be at least a sleeper. And now that there are 8 spots in each league, they should probably be a contender for the playoffs.
Yeah, I should note here, by the way, let's take a look at it, shall we? Big Daddy has been itching to get involved in some things for a while now. Hockey is nearly back.
Yeah, it's a week from now.
So Red Russians will be floating about. You know my wager, the one for the Bruins?
Yeah.
They still haven't paid me?
Well, they might wait until the postseason kicks in. The round robin is for seeding purposes. It's a formality for your bet. They've already won the division.
Yeah, they have. I don't know what the hell, man.
But they might wait until the actual 1 through 8 postseason starts.
I get so frustrated every time I check my account. I'm like, what are we waiting on? I won this bet ages ago. The day that COVID hit, I won this bet. It was over. Pay the man. So you guys are minus a run and a half if you're given the number today, and you're minus 148, just so you know.
148 minus a run and a half. I don't know. We don't give him run support.
Overwhelming favorites tonight.
Yeah,
okay.
That's all right. A little much.
All right. Over under 7.5. Or would you like to bet the team total at under 3.5 for the Mets, who don't score for him?
Okay, so we're a run and a half favorite, right?
Yeah,
and they think we're going to score 3 or fewer, essentially. So we're going to win 3-1 or 3-0. That's what Vegas is saying.
That's what Vegas is saying, yeah. That sounds right.
I'll take the over on the output. We'll score 4 or more. Here's why. The Mets, for whatever reason, usually in March or April, on opening day, are really, really good. Now, COVID is a weird time, but typically, for whatever reason, it's a trend. The Mets on opening day, good times are had. So let's do it. I'm
just really, really I didn't realize that I had a problem. Today makes me realize I had a problem. Or it's a problem. It's only a problem if you're losing a lot. But I really checked every one of these games, and I was looking for the obvious bet. But as I did it, a voice inside my head said, bet them all. Bet every one of them. And I went, well, I don't really care to actually bet on that Seattle-Houston game. I don't see the reason to do that. I don't really want to bet on the Padres D-backs or the Giants-Dodgers tonight. I don't know. Yes, you do. Bet every one of them.
Is there a salami for baseball?
Ooh, there ought to be. I don't know of one. We'll have to
I mean, it fits more for baseball considering a Grand Slam is also known as a salami.
Do totals for the entire night, by the way. So starting here shortly at 4:10 all the way through the latest start time, which is 10:10 with the Angels and the A's tonight. So you got it all the way through.
Game 3 of the triple-header on ESPN. I will be watching that. We'll see what broadcast crew we're graced with, but hopefully it's a good one. I just hope that our game, of course, starts on time. The Braves Radio Network will have the latest for you, but some showers in the early afternoon in New York. Typically, those things aren't pop-up in nature. In New York, you just see a wave coming and it passes by.
Yeah.
Although Washington had to deal with a pop-up last night. That was nasty as hell.
Which was crazy. It looked like they needed the arc. It got so bad so quick. It was that was strange watching that. I mean, I've been in that stadium. It's odd that I've been in that stadium 3 times already to see games. It's just kind of strange.
That is an odd one. Yeah.
Yeah, to have seen 3 different games there and 3 different teams. So I saw the Nats, of course, it's their home ballpark, but 3 different iterations.
That was like in a 2-year span, I had been to 6 hockey games in Tampa, and it might have been 2.5. And the teams I saw were the Penguins 4 times and the Canadiens twice. And it just happened to be.
Just happenstance,
like,
yeah.
I like watching.
I'd like to see somebody
great
else.
players.
Yeah.
Some different uniforms. What are we doing?
That sucks. All right, let's do probables. Cue it up. Let's go.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching, probables?
Oh, nice. I was wondering what you were going to choose. Ah, Silky. Braves Mets. We start right off the bat. The game you'll hear right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Mike Soroka going for the Braves. I take it to beer. Jacob deGrom going for the Mets. 2-time reigning National League Cy Young Award winner Jacob deGrom will begin his quest to make it 3 in a row. They're going to limit him to 85 pitches or less. Did you know that?
Huh. 85 pitches.
So we need him to be efficient.
Yeah, if he's B- Jacob deGrom, that means he's going to go 3 2/3 and give up no runs, but he'll hit his pitch count at that point.
Tigers, Reds, Matthew Boyd, Sonny Gray. Blue Jays, Rays. Or the Rays pitching staff is something. That's a good team right there.
Bet the over on the whole game for the Mets and Braves, if that's the case. If he's going 85 pitches.
Yeah, your bullpen's garbage.
And the Mets lineup can hit.
Okay.
We can hit this year.
All right. We're going to go over that. See? Big Daddy's got one. Good job, Tom. Talked yourself into a wager.
I did.
If you go through every game, you'll do that.
It felt good.
Jays, Rays. Hyun-Jin Ryu going for the Blue Jays, and Morton going for the Rays. Charlie Morton. First time in his 13-year career, he'll take the mound on opening day. The former Pirate. Charlie Morton, who was pedestrian as a Pittsburgh Pirates pitcher. In fact, every time his time was called, I'd go, Charlie Morton's on the bump tonight. I don't know. Got to score 6 tonight to win. And now he's been one of the most dominant pitchers in baseball the last 5 years. Great.
I know it's slightly different because, and I miss your Charlie Morton every 5th day complaint. I know it's slightly different because they did better where they went. But it's kind of like being a Marlins fan and looking at their outfield in different markets in Milwaukee and New York and saying, good God.
Well, I mean, there it was last night. I'm watching Cole just filthy. He gives up the one dinger, and then he's unhittable. Unhittable. Also, favorable zone last night for a pitcher.
He sucks.
Man, wow.
Angel Hernandez is
Good
your first
God.
home plate umpire of the year? Really?
I mean, there are 3 strikeouts last night from Cole that are a good 6 inches outside. Hey, he doesn't need help, Angel. He's pretty damn good. He doesn't need help.
I thought COVID was going to bring us robot umpires. Look at the Prism. ESPN gets better at that Prism animation every year.
Every year. Marlins, Phillies, Sandy Alcantara. Hey, that's it. The lone all-star last year for the Marlins is who's on the bump tonight for them. But the Marlins are kind of fun. They're not going to be good this year. But they've got 6 really good young. This is them in perpetuity. In 2 years, that team will compete for the division.
Scrappy teams can make the postseason this year, even before it was an 8 team per league situation. Everybody's in it. Your Pirates are in it. Everybody's in it.
No, Marlins and Pirates are not in it. The rest of baseball. Okay, Kansas City's not in it.
If you have a 50-game stretch where you go 26 and 24, you're in it.
No, I get it. Even teams that lose 110 games in a season might start the year 30 and 30, and who knows, that might get you in. It's crazy. Sandy Alcantara goes for the Marlins. Aaron Nola going tonight for the Phillies. First Phillies pitcher to make 3 straight opening day starts. Roy Halladay, the last. We know how that ended. Oh, that's terrible. Sorry. Royals, Indians, Danny Duff. He was on drugs. I'm sorry.
He tried to kill people on his plane.
Yes, that's why.
Or he would have been okay with it.
Yeah. Royals, Indians, Danny Duffy, Shane Bieber. That's a nothing game, huh? Brewers, Cubs, Brandon Woodruff, Kyle Hendricks.
I don't even remember what game it was. I didn't hear it.
You tuned out when I said Danny Duffy.
I think so.
He'll make his 3rd career opening day start as the Royals travel to Cleveland for the opener, by the way. Yeah. No thanks. Brewers Cubs is a good game. Brandon Woodruff, Kyle Hendricks. We got Orioles, Bo Sox, Tommy Maloney. Hey, Maloney. Nathan Eovaldi goes for the Red Sox for the first time in his career. He gets the pill on opening day. Rockies, Rangers, German Marquez, Lance Lynn. I just have a weird hatred for Lance Lynn. Probably it's the St. Louis part of him. Has to be. Twins, White Sox, Jose Barrios, who's my favorite pitcher to watch. He is. He's my favorite pitcher to watch pitch. He's ridiculous. It's just the ball moves.
The tilt.
It's unbelievable. Yeah. Lucas Giolito goes for the White Sox.
Ooh,
Pirates.
That's a good game.
It's a really good game.
That's TV1 tonight at 8 o'clock.
It's a good game. Pirates, Cardinals, not probably what's going to be on your television, but will be on my 82-inch television. Unfortunately.
All 82 inches of it.
82 inches of Joe Musgrove and Jack Flaherty. Only Flaherty. We're going to get smoked. That kid's good. We're not. Mariners, Astros, Marco Gonzalez, Justin Verlander. D-backs, Padres, Madison Bumgarner, oddly in a D-backs uniform, making his opening day start. He did that 5 times with the San Francisco Giants. Chris Paddock going tonight for the Padres. Fun team. Padres are a fun team to watch.
I hope that Bumgarner DHs for himself. He can mash.
He can. Giants, Dodgers. Giants are like, we just don't know. We don't know who we're going to throw. We really don't have anything else. We rolled them out there last night. We don't have anything else. So that's TBD. Ross Stripling going to go for the Dodgers. Angels, A's, Andrew Haney, Frankie Montas, and that is a look at those that shall reside on the bump. They didn't sponsor the segment, but you can. I'll just say this. Our friends at Phone Hero get credit for today's problems.
We're going to start giving it out
we're gonna
each day until somebody wants the
somebody
probables.
wants probables. Yeah. Good job, Phone Hero. Appreciate you.
So I had it yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I had the Bradley's dog from the CP with the curly fries and the giant beer.
Baseball in a box.
Baseball in a box. $12.99 all day, every day. You can choose a hamburger if the Bradley's dog's not your thing. Or if you just want more, 2 hot dogs. 2. Plus all the other things. Cracker Jack, all that stuff. Holy God. I did not expect it to be that good. They loaded it up with onions and chives.
Oh, you love it, yeah.
Dude, green peppers. Oh, my God.
Green peppers on a dog, huh?
Oh, yeah, it's a sausage. You know, if it was a hot dog, maybe a little much.
Yeah.
Oh, with the spicy brown.
You gotta smother it with mustard. You got to. I have not had Cracker Jacks in, I don't know, 10 years.
10 years?
Oh, I feel like if
I'm not a big fan of them.
I feel like if I had Cracker Jacks, I'd go, yeah. You know, just not as I remembered as a kid.
You know, one of the sneaky great parts of this thing was, look how crispy that bun is cooked.
I do love that you took a picture of it.
Oh, I did. Well, I put it on.
Yeah.
I did the right thing last night.
There you go.
Yeah. But look how crispy that is. You got to have the crunch. The crunch is my favorite texture, man. The crisp.
All right, Braves fans, enjoy. We got you.
You're going down.
Baseball's back on our airwaves, and it's going to be awesome.
Brad Ingram here.
Enjoy it. Peace. Talk to you Tuesday. I'm taking Monday off. Get you some of that. Taking Monday off. We'll catch up on Tuesday.
Enjoy
everybody.
Cinnamon Beach.
I'm going to go there. Yay, Cinnamon Beach.